Hey guys, welcome back. Today we have another fascinating case study that highlights the importance of understanding not just your tool, but the component that's in the vehicle that you're working on. The tool, your skill set as a technician, and the complete understanding of how components work in the vehicle all need to be in unison, because if something fails and you don't understand, you're lacking understanding in one of those departments, you could be blaming the tool when in reality you need to be analyzing your approach. Your approach might be wrong, okay? So that's what I want to share with you guys today in this case study. So today we're going to be working on the Autel KM100 PATS issues for key registration on a Mazda CX-9 2019, okay? And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Curtis Hardin. I'm an Autel Diagnostic Consultant. I align people with the right diagnostic tool strategy, and I render the one-on-one support that you see in this presentation. So if you're looking to purchase your KM100, you know exactly what to do, all right? Now, what you're gonna be learning today is all the tools and resources used in this presentation, the process to add the key with the KM100, understanding why the key registration failed, and you're going to learn the diagnostic framework, okay? The tools used in this case study is the OEM repair information, the MaxiSys Ultra, a KM100, and a spare key fob. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background of the situation, this particular client recently purchased the MaxiSys Ultra. After diagnosing him, I told him that it'd be good for him to get into the key coding because it's going to be needed to solve certain problems. And after utilizing it, he was having some troubles, and he came to the conclusion that it was useless. It wasn't giving him the results he was looking for on certain vehicles. So as a consultant, I need to validate if we have a software issue or if there is a underlying condition. So that's what I did, okay? So attempting to do the coding procedure with the KM100, I had the client go and do the procedure again with me watching him. So you can see here, he's already identified the vehicle. And the first step he's gonna do is just do a quick emo status scan just to see what's going on into the emo systems and stuff like that, okay? So you can see here, it tells us how many keys were programmed to the vehicle. In this scenario, he had one working key and he wanted to add on a secondary key. It tells us how many keys minimum we need. If we need to replace something, you need 2 keys. And it tells us there's quite a bit of fault codes here, as you can see. So from here, we're going to go ahead and do the add smart key function. It's a 6-step process that is very simple to do, okay? We're just going to go ahead and follow the prompts. This function will not erase the keys, okay? Turn the ignition on, okay, you did that, and we're going to enter in the system, and we're going to let the device do its thing. Now it's going to go ahead and read the pin. All right, so it's telling us here you must connect the VCI diagnostic tool using the USB, otherwise this function may fail. Now the reason why they want us to do a hardwired connection is because sometimes frequency interference might prevent us from going to the next step, and this will prevent that from happening. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna follow the instructions, and it's gonna go check the ignition, and then it's going to into this security access. Okay, so this is going to take some time because this is a security measure. It works the same way with Fords. While this is doing this is a very powerful, inexpensive tool. However, I want you guys to be conscious and not be so hungry to get the tool, because when you have problems that come up like this, and if you don't have resources from your supplier that can show you how to do these things, I don't know, I feel that you're going to be cutting yourself short and possibly losing a potential client because you're not going to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? So just be conscious when you buy these tools from certain people, okay? Now, what I wanted to do is get an overview of the overall system, by using his MaxiSys Ultra. Okay, it has way more in-depth diagnostic capabilities, and the topology view would kind of give me an understanding of how things are laid out in the car, so I can kind of quickly identify where our potential problem could be. Okay, so as we do that, I'm going to go ahead and do a fault scan, and it's going to go ahead and go through every single module. I think this particular vehicle has about 30 modules, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's only going to get more and more and more, you guys. More and more. So far, there's a error code in the PCM and the blind spot module, and let's see what else comes up. We're almost there, 86%. Okay, so there's one in the start stop menu. Okay, so this is my framework. So first I look at the PCM. It has a P1260. That's perfectly okay because it's an immobilizer fault code. Now, if there was something else in the PCM, that needs to be rectified first before we re-register the key. Okay, otherwise it's not going to work. The blind spot monitoring module, that's not relevant to the EMO system, so we'll disregard that. But the smart start unit, that kind of rose some red flags. As you can see here, the B13D3 error code has the passive anti-theft system transmitter. Okay, so at this point, I needed to seek understanding of what this unit is in charge of, what it does, if once I find that out, I can compare that to what symptoms the clients have and give them a strategy. Okay, so I already have a Mazda OEM service information account. So the first thing I did was I wanted to find out what is the StartStop unit. So the StartStop unit is like the vehicle's central command center. It controls several systems based on the input-output signals from switches such as the push button and the immobilizer system. Now, the StartStop unit is located in the steering column of the 2019 Mazda, as you can see here. And these are what it's responsible for. So for the advanced keyless entry system, so this is basically a feature that allows you to lock and unlock your doors automatically just by having the remote with you in the vehicle, okay? So I asked the client, I said, look, when you're in the vehicle, does it unlock and lock the doors? He said no, so that wasn't working. The next thing the StartStop unit is in charge of is the keyless entry system. So this is similar to the advanced keyless entry system, but it allows you to use the fob to unlock and lock the car remotely, And he told me that this also wasn't working, all right? Then there's a push button start, so that basically authorizes the engine to start with the push of a button, and that was working fine. Then there's the immobilizer system. So this is the anti-theft system that allows only previously programmed keys to start the engine. This I think was kind of suspect just because when we did the key registration that you guys saw, it wasn't able to go through the system. To that 10-minute waiting system, it wasn't able to go through. So I thought that this could be a potential issue, okay? And then we have the onboard diagnostic system. So this basically allows us to find faults that are in the system. This has that platform to help us. And then there's the control area network, okay? So with all these symptoms that my client had, I looked here, I said, this could probably be our culprit, but I always want to be sure, okay? So the first thing that I did was look at the probable causes, okay? So one cause could be the mistake in the remote transmitter registration. So maybe the customer purchased an Amazon key and maybe it was for the wrong vehicle. There's a lot of different variables, okay? That could be a particular issue. The second thing could be the start-stop unit may be misconfigured. So maybe it was replaced and nobody did the proper configuration, and that could be one factor. And thirdly, the remote transmitter could be malfunctioning. So as I said, sometimes when you order these keys from online, they don't work properly because the build quality is poor. So that could be an issue. And then the last thing could be the start-stop unit itself. That could probably be malfunctioning. Okay, so to go through the diagnostic process, it's going to help us validate each of those possible pain points. All right, so let's go to the first step. So verify that the vehicle and the remote transmitter combination is correct. So we just did a visual inspection. Everything looked the same. The original key looked identical to the donor key, as well as that was labeled on the Autel. If it's not correct, then get the proper one and do it. If it is correct, we can go on to the next diagnostic step, which is perform the start-stop unit configuration using the as-built data. So in plain English, guys, they want us to use the MMD Mazda programming software. It's $50 for 72 hours. And then we're going to use the as-built data to reconfigure it to make sure that it's configured properly. So yeah, that's what you're going to need to do. If you need training on this, you can book a consultation on my website. I can help you do that. But that's just to confirm that it's been configured properly. Okay. And then after that is done, it's going to tell us to go to the next step. Determine the malfunctioning key depending on repeatability. So basically they want to see if the registered keys are still giving us this fault code. Okay, if it's not, we're good. If it is, it says replace the remote transmitter, which indicates the DTC, and then go to the next step. Okay, and then verify that all repairs have been complete. If you scan it again and there's no codes, you're fine. If there is codes, it says repeat the inspection from step 1, and then if the malfunction reoccurred, replace the start-stop unit. Okay, and that's what I really think that was the culprit of the problem. Okay, and then the last step, verify if other DTCs are displayed. If there's no more DTCs, you're fine. Okay, so with this diagnostic process, we were able to professionally consult the customer and let them know why the key wasn't being registered. Okay, so to sum things up, this is what I want you guys to remember. Try to source your own keys. Okay, since in this situation it was an Amazon key, it was kind of taking a little bit of time to verify if the key was working properly. You really don't know without going through a lot of tests. If you have a good supplier that gives you good keys, then you can eliminate that step and go on to like something that's more important. Okay, so try to get a good supplier and get your own keys. Second, if the key registration fails, look for permanent fault codes in the email related system. So instead of just blaming the scan tool, you need to scan the vehicle, erase the codes. If a code pops up that's in an important email related system, that needs to be investigated. And then investigate that, you need to get access to repair information to help understand the fault in the system. Okay. Now, a lot of locksmiths, I know they don't have access to this because you're just doing a lot of key configurations, but there's been many scenarios where, let's say a locksmith attempted to do a thing and maybe he says the key's registered, he really doesn't know. And then my client is left with the diagnostic process. And since he has, I guess, access to the information, he can explain why, the key hasn't been registered or like you'll be able to have some understanding. Okay, and then use the diagnostic framework to determine the root of the problem and then explain to the customer the underlying condition. So this gives us several benefits. Okay, the first benefit is we can explain to the customer why the key isn't registering logically, We went through the steps and we can consult him that way. And then the customer has a decision to make if they want us to replace it, and then we can do the programming. So we can actually not only get paid for the key registration, but we can get paid to do the programming scenario, okay? So there's a lot of opportunity by consulting your client there, all right? So that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. If you did, you can go ahead and subscribe, comment, and like. And with that, I hope you guys have a blessed week. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.